Hi everyone, my name is Anita, Assistant Professor from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Here, I am going to discuss about one of the important topic in web technology, that is Web Essential. So in this Web Essential, we are going to discuss about the client, server, and as well as the communication between the client and the server. The first thing is client. Client is a software, that is the software that resides on the remote machine. It communicates with the server. That is the client, it requests the information to the server. And then the server, it fetches the information and process it, and that may be given to the client. So that is called as client. And next thing is server. Server is a software that distributes the information, where the information and the software that resides is called the server. That is, the server fetches the information according to the request given by the client. And next is the web client. Whereas a web client is a software application. It allows the user to access web pages and as well as web content, services and the resources over a network. That is called as web client. And next is the web server, the software that delivers the web pages and other documents to browser using the HTTP protocol. That is, the web server, it delivers the web pages according to the request given by the client with the help of using a web browser over the internet using an hypertext transfer protocol. Next is web page. A web page, it is a document or resource of information that is suitable for the World Wide Web. So the web page, it is a document. It can be accessed through a web browser. A web page that can be accessed through the web browser with the help of using the internet. And next is the website, the collection of web pages that will form the website. So this website that can be accessed with the help of using the URL that may be entered over the browser. So next thing is URL. URL in the sense that is Uniform Resource Locator. Whereas the Uniform Resource Locator, it will have the unique address. Using this unique address, the particular unique address that may be given over the web browser. So according to the unique web address that may be entered over the web browser, the data, that is, it will display the particular website. So that is called as URL. And next is client server paradigm. Client server paradigm in the sense the client process running on the client host, it will access the service of the server process. That is, consider a client and as well as the server. So in between the client and the server, it will have a browser. The client, it will request a particular web pages or document to the server with the help of using the web browser. The web browser, it will send the request to the server. The server, it will see what type of request that the client have given. So according to the request given by the client, the server, it fetches the information, and that information that may be transmitted to the web browser, and through web browser it may be given to the client. So that is called as client server paradigm. And next is internet. Whereas internet is the largest network in the world. It connects hundreds and thousands of individual networks all over the world. The internet is called as information highway. That is, network of network that may be connected over a communication with the help of using the TCP/IP communication protocol. This TCP/IP communication protocol, it is called as a connection oriented protocol, whereas it establishes a connection between the sender and the receiver. So after establishing a connection, the data transfer that may be performed. Then after the completion of the data transfer, it terminates the connection. Whereas the TCP/IP is a communication protocol that is mainly used in the client server paradigm. And next thing is uses of internet. Whereas in this uses of internet, the internet, that is uses are, that is it send email messages, it will send or receive files between the computers. And some of the uses are, that is online banking, cashless transactions, etc. Next thing is URL. URL in the sense, that is Uniform Resource Locator. This Uniform Resource Locator, it will have a Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So this HTTP, that stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, whereas it is mainly used to access the information based upon the specified domain. And next thing is HTTPS. HTTPS in the sense, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. Whereas this Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, it indicates that the particular information that may be transmitted over the HTTP, it is encrypted and it is more secure. So that is called as HTTPS. This HTTPS, that may be used in the online banking transaction for performing a secure transaction over the client. Next is World Wide Web. It is shortly called as WWW. It is a collection of web pages that the user can access over the internet. This, it is a machine that access information on a web, is known as a web client. So the web client, it will request an information over the web with the help of using the web browser. So with the help of using the web browser that will send the request to the server. According to the request, the server will respond, and as well as it will finally display the web pages over the internet. And next is HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. That is HTTP request that may be performed on the sender side. That request is called request that may be sent by the client as HTTP request, whereas the response that may be given by the server is called as a HTTP response. This HTTP, it is a form of communication protocol. It, it is the it describes that how a particular web client and server should communicate. This HTTP communication is called as a request response model. The request that may be given by the client, whereas the response that may be sent by the server. Whereas this HTTP, it is a connectionless protocol which can deliver any sorts of data over the internet. This HTTP, it is based on a request response communication model. This, it is otherwise called as a stateless protocol, whereas the client sends a request and as well as the server sends a response. Next is HTTP workflow. Whereas in this HTTP workflow, it will be represented as HTTP colon slash followed by the particular web address. This may be entered over the browser with the help of using Chrome, Firefox, etc. That is, the browser sends a request to the web server that hosts the website. The web server, what it will do, then it returns a response as a HTML pages or in a form of document to the browser. So finally, the browser displays the response from the server to the user. So this is the basic structure of the HTTP, that is a request response. Request is given by the client, whereas the response that may be sent from the server to the client. So it will have a two message types, that is request messages and as well as the response messages. HTTP request message, whereas in this HTTP request message that may be sent by the client to initiate a specific action by the server. So that is called as HTTP request. So in this HTTP request message, it will have some basic structure. that is request or start line, header field, blank line, and finally the message body. Request start line, it indicates the specific request that may be given by the client to the server. So that is called as request or start line. Whereas in this header field, it contains the specific address of the source and as well as the destination. And finally, it will have a blank line and as well as the message body, that is optional. And next is the response message, whereas in this response message that may be performed at the server side. So every HTTP response message, it consists of a status line, header field, blank line, and as well as the message body. The status line that mainly describe about the status of the request that may be given by the client to the server. So using the status line, we can identify whether the client request has been responded by the server or not. According to the you can identify that can be identified with the help of using the status line. And next thing is the header field. It will have the source and as well as the destination address, and the blank line and message body, that is optional. So these are the basic thing that may be performed at the HTTP request response messages. Thank you.